Hello everyone, and welcome back to Corsace Closed in the semifinals weekend. We are here with our last matchup of bracket match between Tekkito and Ekoro to decide which one of these monstrous players moves on in top 6 of the tournament. My name is Deal. I'm back here again with Fiery Rage to break down this matchup and curse as many players' combos as possible here in the last match of the weekend.
Yeah, well, hopefully that won't happen as often as it did last match, but about this matchup, Tekkito had played a semifinals match prior to this versus Intergaming, won 6-1. The only maps that he got below 600k on are Nomad 5 and Nomad 2, and even then, Nomad 5 was below 600k by 30k points, and Nomad 2 was below 600k by 20k points, so Tekkito had an absolute pop-off performance, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him go forth with that again and bring that to the table once more. Like, he had a 98.6% almost FC on TT2, which was absolutely just insane. I would love to see him do that again.
Yeah. I mean, Tekkito has been, I think, against expectations for him this year, this past year or so. Really improved the speed, really improved his finger control, and made a lot of headway into those areas of tournament gameplay where he usually was considered a lot weaker. But I think for Ekoro, the story in this matchup is still going to be abuse the left-hand maps and abuse hidden and reading. When you look at that MP link for Tekkito, you said just about every map was above 600k, but those two maps that weren't were Nomad 5 and Nomad 2. So Ekoro kind of can read into that a little bit and say, yeah, you know what? When he does falter, it's on those left-hand maps, it's on those stamina and speed-intensive maps, and the stats reflect it for both of these players as well. In this case, Tekkito below that 7 for speed and right at the 7 for stamina. Ekoro well above that 7 for both of them. So having, I think, a pretty welcome advantage on those tapping-intensive maps for Ekoro, including when it comes to the finger control, despite what the stats might have you believe. In this case, I think we're probably going to see Ekoro pick into things like the Nomad 2, like the Nomad 5, like those two tapping-intensive double times in DT2 and DT3, and probably like, if the Hard Rock 3 is left open, into that Hard Rock 3, if the Hidden 2 and the Nomad 6 are left open, into those two maps as well, because we all know how ridiculous a reading player Ekoro is. He wasn't an easy main for about 10 years for nothing. The man can read low approach rate like no other in the tournament scene.
Yeah, Tekkito, I imagine Tekkito is probably just going to straight up ban Nomad 6 and Hidden 2. Maybe actually going for a Hard Rock 3 ban would also be reasonable, since that is effectively the Nomad 6 in this pool. Well, the traditional Nomad 6 in a sense, which Ekoro has always been an absolute monster at, to say the very least. So either one of those three maps for the, two of the three maps for the Tekkito bans, I think, would work well. Ekoro, on the other hand, I'm actually going to go contrary to what you said. I think he's going to ban DT2. Tekkito's score on DT2 against Intergaming was just, I would not want to go against that.
I can definitely see the DT2 being banned out by Ekoro, sure. I think when it comes to the Nomad 2 and the Nomad 5, we'll probably see those get picked up by Ekoro, and maybe we'll see them get banned by Tekkito if he's not as worried about, for example, the Hidden 2, which I think is probably the reading map that he leaves up, if he does leave either of them up. But I can definitely see the DT2 getting banned out, specifically because it's not as focused on the longer streams and the burst stamina like the Nomad 2, like the Nomad 5, like the DT3, right? Like you said, it's very finger control focused, a lot of doubles, quads, 6-note bursts in that map, and at 225 BPM, it's honestly not as fast as most DT2s at this level of difficulty usually would be, so it's far more accessible to players like Tekkito, who have more recently branched out into speed and made that a part of their wheelhouse during the last year.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of wiggle room for the bans for pretty much both of these players. I think I could see a lot of bans working out for pretty much both these players. Tekkito, Nomad 2, Nomad 5, aforementioned Nomad 6, Hidden 2, and Hard Rock 3, I think all 5 of those are reasonable enough bans. I don't really necessarily think banning Nomad 5 and Nomad 2 would be a good idea, but I can at least see the reasoning behind banning them, so I think that would still work out fine. Ekoro, I think just honestly straight up banning Tech, just like Nomad 4, get that out. Get Tech out of the question. Please do not play Tech. Just get that out there. Nomad 4 is an obvious choice for a ban. I'd say Nomad 3 even as well. And DT2 as well is potential. Hidden 3, I think, is a bit more of a toss-up, but Ekoro could also opt to ban that because Tekkito... Hidden Tech is literally what made him known to begin with. Like, he literally is known for that. That is his specialty. He is considered the Cookie Z of the United States for a reason.
Oh yeah, I think the two most obvious bans for Ekoro are just Nomad 4, Hidden 3, right? I think that Nomad 3 is a potential ban if Ekoro feels confident going into either of those other 2 picks, right? Ekoro is no slouch on the Hidden, and no slouch on the Hidden flow aim either. Definitely has that aim control necessary to do well on those types of picks, but like you said, Tekkito posts Twitter clips of those types of maps, right? Like, he farms the 9-star of the maps that you see in those types of slots nowadays. So banning out the Hidden 3 and the Nomad 4, I think, is a very good idea for Ekoro. Tekkito, just one of the best in the world at those types of maps, and I think does have a pretty solid on-paper advantage on those slots in this pool. The other area that I could see Tekkito maybe banning out is something like the Hard Rock 2, for the same reasons, right? Aim control, precision, something that Ekoro isn't necessarily as good at. You can see a pretty wide statistical difference between these 2 players on precision, and while yes, this Hard Rock 2 is a very different sort of map from the previous precision picks that we have had in the Hard Rock pools so far, I think that there is still something to be said for looking at the results that we've had in this Corsace Closed overall and saying, you know what, even if has the potential to do well on something like this, he's just not having that good of a time with it right now in this tournament. So it is perhaps worth a ban for that reason, if you're looking at other parts of the map pool for Ekoro to ban stuff out on. And similarly, the Hard Rock one and the Nomad one, along with the DT one, I think are all completely good bans for Ekoro, famously not that good at aim in comparison to just about every other skill set that he has, right? And you can see that both the precision aim and the raw aim for Ekoro just not really the strongest tools that he has in the toolbox right now, and so could look to ban some of those as well, especially given that Ekoro is still relatively solid on that tech, on that flow aim in comparison to his jump aim overall, especially when matching up against Tekkito.
Yeah, it would not be too surprising to see Nomad 1 Hard Rock 1 bans. That would be probably the other 2 bans I would expect if he does not opt to go for the tech-oriented bans. Or we could see a mix of the 2. Either one works, really, but Tekkito, pick-wise, definitely just going to be sticking towards that tech-aim-oriented focus. Not really wanting to go into the hidden or the, I'd imagine the more gimmicky-oriented maps like Nomad 6. Obviously, probably that's just going to be banned straight out. I genuinely do not see a world where Tekkito leaves that open. And as for Ekoro, going to be sticking with maps like Hard Rock 3, Nomad 6. Got some potential with Hidden 2, Hidden 3 as well, although Tekkito, I think, is a bit more toss-up on those 2 maps because both of them can play that relatively well. And I think, other than that, DT3 would probably also work out for Ekoro, as well as the more speed-oriented picks, Nomad 5, Nomad 2, are probably also fine for him to pick into. But other than that, these players are pretty much equal for most of the skill sets. Or at least they can compete with each other.
They definitely can. I think the one thing to talk about with this matchup that we haven't really touched on yet is the fact that Tekkito is coming off of another match on this semifinals pool, right? He had to go through intercambing to get to this point, whereas Ekoro actually won by default, found an FF out of MREC due to scheduling issues and sleep schedule issues, more like for MREC. Unfortunate Australia difference there. And
When
so
there's
there's less data for Tekkito on this map pool, right?
Oh.
So whereas Tekkito just kind of has to go off of previous weekends, he has to knows about Ekoro skill set, right? Ekoro can look at the MP link that Tekkito had against intercambing and just pick and ban based off of that as well. You can look at the bans that Tekkito had and say, okay, well, against intercambing, Tekkito actually banned out double time 3, not really comfortable sort of map. And so I think it's really reasonable to think that Ekoro, if that map is up, it's probably picking it into Tekkito in this case. And again, can look at which maps Tekkito had the best time on and which maps he kind of faltered on, those speed maps in particular being a part of it.
Okay, a bit of an oddball ban. Actually, not really an oddball ban, now, because we were talking about how Ekoro doesn't like aim. DT1 is the first ban from Ekoro, so probably going to be focusing more on just banning out aim. I imagine Nomad 1 or Hard Rock 1 is going to be the follow-up ban for Ekoro. Tekkito, I am hoping to see a Nomad 6 here. Hidden 2 is also the other reasonable ban, so that was kind of expected. I imagine Nomad 6 is going to be the last one. I genuinely do not see a world where that is left open against Ekoro.
I think the Nomad 6 ban is a given, right? Hidden 2 is potentially the reading map that he would have left open if Tekkito were feeling comfortable on it against Ekoro right now, but Nomad 6 actually left open. All right, Ekoro, you know what to pick, man. DT1 Hard Rock 1 banned out from Ekoro. Those 2 aim maps left out of the pool right now. And so no aim for Tekkito, or far less aim, right? Solely excluded to Nomad 1 and Hidden 1 now, which is probably the 2 best mods for Ekoro on that raw aim consistency, especially with how awkward that Hidden 1 is. But Nomad 6 left up is big here for Ekoro. Hard Rock 3 being banned out by Tekkito, I do also think is a good ban. Right, we talked about that map, especially in the previous matchup between Mathy and Utami, where that map has just so much finger control in it, so many 1-6 quads, so many 1-8 triples, so many changes between that 1-4 stream, 1-6 and 1-8 beat snap divisors, and so Ekoro famously good at those types of maps, a very good ban from Tekkito on that map still. And it is going to be one of those aim maps picked up by Tekkito, the Hidden 1, as the here, something that he is very, very good at as well.
Yeah, this is something that Tekkito honestly is probably going to FC. I would not be surprised to see an FC from Tekkito on this map. Ekoro has the potential as well, mind you, but this is just something I think Tekkito is a lot more comfortable in general on over Ekoro. We saw that in the head-to-head matchup. The aim component is just by far in favor of Tekkito, and I think we're going to be seeing that in dividends here in the early stages of this map. The first pick, though, after double banning aim, Tekkito opting to pick into aim, starting with Hidden 1, and I imagine Nomad 1 to follow up after if this pick goes well for him.
Would not surprise me to see it, even if he loses this pick in a breakpoint, given that this type of awkward aim hidden map is something that Ekoro is probably a little bit better on than the usual Nomad 1. Still a very solid hidden player for Ekoro. This type of really awkward aim consistency as well does bring with it the kind of aim control that you usually find in alt maps. This type of map in particular with very unstructured sorts of aim pattern stuff that almost reminds me of the type of patterns you see in Spartan alt maps at 240 BPM. This is almost reminiscent of the aim control you find in an alt map, and with that type of spacing, it's no surprise to see some breaks from Ekoro during this first Ki time there. Tekkito able to make it through with the combo intact and with the accuracy very, very strong as well. 98.8% right now, still on the FC after that first Ki time halfway through.
Yeah, that is going to be a very sizable combo lead for Tekkito as we approach the halfway point of the map. Already 100k points of difference, and we're not even at the second chorus yet, so this is a very solid start for Tekkito, as we kind of expected going into this. Just that one miss from Ekoro, though, has been building up relatively nicely. The accuracy, a bit lackluster, but nothing terrible to write home about. And, okay, there goes another miss. And suddenly, 800 combo advantage for Tekkito now. To get into the last third of the map. This is a bit...
800 combo advantage and a 1.5% AC lead as well. Now just the AC lead, actually, as Tekkito does find a miss there going into this slower section. But with a 200,000 score lead to boot, I don't think that's going to change too much, even if Ekoro FC's the rest. We're going to need to see chain misses for Tekkito for this breakpoint to happen. And yeah, Tekkito's pretty good at this type of map. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, that is, unfortunately for Ekoro, those 2 misses, sort of deciding that and now resetting the combo on the slow section. Going to seal it. Tekkito going to be winning the first pick. And are we going to see Ekoro bring out the secret weapon? Are we going to see that immediately, or is he going to hold on to it for a bit longer? That's the question I want to see answered right now, because we all know he's probably going to pick it. Actually, not probably, he is going to pick it. It's just a matter of when. Does he want to save it for a guaranteed point later, or does he just want to get it out of the way? Let's see. And, okay, Tekkito.
a little bit of a misaim there at the end on that last quad, but not for any trouble there. By the end, still 230k up for Tekkito on his first pick. And a solid 1-0 lead at the start of the match. Like I said, yeah, Ekoro definitely gonna pick that Nomad 6 at some point. I think he can probably leave it until later on into the match and kind of save it for either a very potent last pick or, you know, a...
Wrong.
No, he's just gonna go with the first pick, guaranteed.
Wrong.
Try to guaranteed point. We'll
Wrong.
See. I tried.
Wrong.
I tried. Either way is fine. He's
Wrong.
still probably gonna win this point.
Yeah, this is like the least expected pick I think we could ever see from pretty much any tournament. Ekoro Nomad 6. There is a literal song named after him that Down made in the style of most Nomad 6s that we see. Granted, this is a bit different. This is a lot more reading intensive, but I mean, reading intensive. Ekoro plays easy. Like, this is literally what he does. So, yeah. See how Tekkito fares on this, because I think that's the more interesting part. I think Ekoro, everyone just kind of expects him to do well on this.
And I think that leaving this up isn't as bad for Tekkito as a lot of people might think it is at first glance. I think a lot of people forget that Tekkito last year in Corsace Closed was the player to beat on these types of really gimmicky reading maps, and already you can just see how much more comfortable these two players are on this type of map than anybody else who has played it this weekend. Just absolutely crushing the perfect overlaps and rhythm changes on the perfect stacks in this map. Despite the low approach rate, despite the absolutely absurd patterning, we finally see a break come out from Tekkito a third of the way into the map. Still the FC for Ekoro, but 97.5 AC for Tekkito, really going to show just how comfortable he actually is on this map. I mean, this is already a very, very good score for Tekkito. He's just unfortunately up against Ekoro on this Nomad 6.
Yeah, fun fact, by the way, these scores are already beating Zudinator and Arnold, who played this map earlier. So just a little fun trivia fact for you. And also, Ekoro just about now has the highest score already. He just passed it. So, yeah, welcome to Nomad 6. Welcome to the Ekoro show. Even then, Tekkito's Tekkito's not doing bad either. Like, he's also, he's gearing up to get the second best score of the weekend on this map. It's just, what can you do against Ekoro on a reading map like this?
Which, honestly, if I were going to pick two players to get the top two scores on this map this weekend, I would definitely pick Ekoro and Tekkito. Tekkito, honestly, with leaving this map up, just giving everybody the show we wanted on this map, right? Getting to see these two players just absolutely demolish this pick. Who else is able to read these types of back and forth different rhythm patterns than Ekoro, man? What is he doing? Still holding the full combo. Still able to FC through this with almost 99% accuracy. You cannot overstate how ludicrous this play is right now from Ekoro, because this is not only far and away the best play of the weekend, but just about triple anybody else's score outside of Tekkito, and still over double Tekkito's score, which is the second best score this weekend. Absolutely insane play from Ekoro, not to mention the second best score of the weekend coming out of Tekkito on this map.
Yeah, we saw the two best scores on this map, and one of them is 500k above the other. Just so you guys know how much of a gap there is between every single player in this tournament and Ekoro on these maps. Just so you guys are aware of that. In case you weren't already.
So I think a lot of people are probably wondering why Ekoro's stats say that his reading was not quite as good as people maybe make it out to be. I think it's because all the reading maps just get banned against Ekoro all the time. And for pretty good reason, right? As you see there, full comboing the map that nobody else could get above 500k on. Everybody else locked to that 400k zone or below. Ekoro just full combos. Just does it in match, no problem. That's it, though. Number 2 now for Tekkito. I think goes against what we were talking about as the kind of expectations for the picks during this match. A little interesting for this one.
Well, definitely something I can still see working out. Tekkito did get almost a 99% against intercambing on this. Just, I believe, note locking part of one stream, which dropped his accuracy below that. So he's more than capable of playing maps like this. Definitely has the stamina, has the flow aim capability of getting a good score on this. It's definitely, I think, a bit more contested than something like Nomad 1 would be, though, but maybe he knows something we don't.
Maybe he does. The reason why, for those wondering, why we think this map is a little bit weird to see is because Ekoro has typically won by abusing two different skills, and those are reading and stamina and speed. And you can see now it is contested between these two. We see some breaks from Tekkito, some breaks from Ekoro here and there in the intro section, as both of them kind of falter on the flow aim a little bit on this map. Accuracy advantage in the favor of Tekkito by about 1%. But that's how Ekoro won versus, for example, White Cat, by abusing speed and stamina against White Cat. So, yeah, for anybody wondering why we were thinking an Ekoro pick, it's because he was able to do better on speed and stamina against formerly one of the best speed and stamina players in the world. Not to mention the #1 player for the longest time on record. So, a little interesting to see this pick from Tekkito. So far, it's working out, though. A little bit under 1% accuracy lead for Tekkito, and a bit of a combo lead due to the timing on the misses from both players as well, giving Tekkito about a 10,000 score lead, a little less than that, now a little more, as Ekoro drops the accuracy, but Tekkito drops the combo, and that's going to give the score lead right over to Ekoro, just about now, finally taking that score lead over during this KI time.
Yeah, note locks from Tekkito. Repeated note locks is not going to really be helping that much, as Ekoro consistently holds his combo through that section. That's going to be giving him quite the sizable advantage here. So we're going to be getting into the, I believe, the 1/3 section relatively shortly. So we might see Ekoro break here, and if that's the case, then Tekkito still does have a decent chance at coming back in this. Score gap isn't unrecoverable by any means. Here's the 1/3 section, so we'll see if Ekoro gets tripped up on any of these little awkward patterns here and there. I believe there's 2 of them, and one of them is going to be coming up right here. Hits both of that. There's one more similar to that, and we'll see if he can get through that. Then it's just back to 1/4 space streams, baby, for the rest of the map. Both players hit it, and let's go back to 210 BPM.
There is another 1/3 section coming up after these streams, I believe, but the spacing is not like it was with those cut 1/3. Those are the 2 1/3 that were left up, those 2 6-note streams right there. And so both players making it through no trouble, no accurate drops on them as well. And Ekoro back to abusing this combo advantage that he held, now still up 700 combo over Tekkito, and looking very, very solid on this map at the moment. This last quarter of the map, though, can decide things. The score lead for Ekoro is massive, However, if Tekkito is going to take this point, it's going to have to be off of that chain miss from Ekoro right there, and it had to happen just about then as well. 100,000 score lead and diminishing for Ekoro now as Tekkito holds 1,000 combo lead and holds the accuracy lead by a full % as well going into the last sliver of map here.
I think it would have required maybe another chain miss from Ekoro on that last stream section. I think there's one more coming up. If he does end up chain missing on that, or at least missing on these jumps maybe, then Tekkito does have a solid shot here. I just think it needs a bit more nudging in that direction. I don't think, as it stands right now, Tekkito is going to be taking the lead. Actually, I could be eating my own words now that I think about it. Wait, this
score lead is just evaporating, man.
Wait, this is going way faster than I thought. Hold on a second.
Yes, 20k and closing for Tekkito right now. Not quite 1,000 combo lead, but not quite 10k score lead here. Just a sliver of map left. Is it going to be enough for Tekkito to take it at the end? It just barely swaps over. No misses either player on these jumps at the end. Nobody missing on the last quint, and by less than 10,000 score, Tekkito will take his own pick on Nomad 2. But it's about as close as it gets between those two on that pick as he just barely crests that score lead that Ekoro had built up during the middle section of the map.
Yeah, that accuracy lead meaning all the difference. Only 50 combo difference. On a map like this, that combo difference is pretty much negligible. It was all the accuracy. That accuracy from Tekkito carrying him over the starting or the finish line there. And that's going to be his second pick, second win. Barely, granted, but it is a win, and definitely a bit more of a toss-up out of the way. So, good to get that out of the way, not have to deal with it anymore. Ekoro DT3, I think, is pretty much the expected second pick. After Tekkito banning out DT3 against intercamping, I think this is somewhat expected.
Yeah, absolutely. 270 BPM burst spam is the name of the game here. Just about as straightforward in terms of patterning as you can get. Not a reading pick whatsoever, but all speed in this map at 270 BPM with OD 10.1 from Double Time. And anime! Yes, lots of anime. We love anime here in the Osu community. Yeah, you can see immediately what this map does. It's just all bursts at 270 BPM. It is AR 10.3, so there is a little bit of that high approach reading built into this map, but not as much of a density check as it would be if the map were, for example, a Corsace 8, like a lot of other Total Time 3. A couple of early breaks for Tekkito, an early act advantage for Ekoro, bringing this score lead up to about 30k at the moment. Other than that, not too much of a difference between the two, as both of them kind of struggling in the act department right now.
Yeah, Ekoro marginally a bit better. Not by much. Tekkito a bit struggling a bit on the longer bursts, mostly, which is where a lot of this accuracy lead is coming from, just off those long bursts alone. Tekkito running out of speed, I think. Oh, that was a miss! I'm sorry for mentioning your name, Tekkito.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of expected, though, right? We expected Ekoro to have both the accuracy and maybe combo Double Time 3. After Tekkito banned this out against intercamping Ekoro, I think reading the room correctly, reading the match correctly, and knowing that this is what he has won on in the past, picking into something that, you know, maybe it's not his strongest skill ever, but he's probably stronger on it than a lot of the other players left in this tournament. So this DT3 pick definitely doing wonders for him in this match so far. Up now over 200,000 and about to double the score coming out of Tekkito.
Yeah, this is actually a really insane combo from Ekoro. I'm not going to lie. I think this is probably one of the highest scores we've seen on this map in this stage so far, if I'm not wrong. If he FCs, I think that'd be the only FC on this map. Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter if Ekoro misses or if Tekkito combos the rest of the map. This is pretty much already guaranteed for Ekoro. 2-2 now. Just whether or not he can FC this, and I think FCing this would be a hell of a statement to Tekkito. Just stay away from Nomad 5. And there it is! The, I'd say, least expected person I'd say to FC this. ends up FCing it with an S rank.
Oh, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, right? With this left-hand abuse coming out of Ekoro. He's been winning these speed picks against a lot of people that I think before this tournament, people may have been mischaracterizing Ekoro as just this only reading and only player, but you know what? All those 1/8 and 1/6 bursts and those no mod 6 man, they turn you into a speed player, and he is now good enough at that speed to just demolish that DT3, bring it combo, and over 1 million score, over double the score coming out of Tekkito. And yeah, you know what? Tekkito's still going to go with the aim maps, going to go back to that no mod 1. Like we said, double ban on the aim from Ekoro. First pick on the hidden one, did depart from that a little bit for the no mod 2, but now back into the aim maps with that no mod 1 aim consistency pick.
The last aim consistency pick, as a matter of fact, remaining in the pool, so no more straightforward aim abuse left for Tekkito to pick from the pool. Now, he still does have the tech maps, though, for his last 2 picks. I do imagine we're probably just going to see no mod 4 and hidden 3. Hidden 3 may be a bit more of a toss-up, but I just think Tekkito wins no mod 4 straight up against Ekoro, so that's probably going to be the next pick, if any, from Tekkito. But for now, it's the aim pick, and judging from what we've seen on Hidden 1, Tekkito definitely a lot more favored on this, I'd say.
One thing to note with this map, very different from Hidden 1, it's really not all that awkward. Despite being mapped by Ryusei Aika, this is a pretty straightforward no mod 1. Like there's not a lot of awkwardness to the jumps in this map. There's a couple of sliders and a couple of bursts here and there that do make it look a bit awkward, but the angles on the jumps and the way that they present themselves are pretty easy to read and pretty easy to deal with. So it is largely that jump consistency at still relatively high star rating, but not nearly as awkward as a lot of other Ryusei Aika maps, especially those aim maps that we usually see from him, like that other remod pick that he had in the Host World Cup this past year. So definitely a more standard sort of pick from Ryusei Aika that I think people usually expect.
Well, both players holding through the first few jump sections of the map, but we're not going to be getting into the hard ones until the chorus hits, which is right now, as a matter of fact. So we'll see if anyone breaks on the first jump pattern here. There goes Ekoro. Tekkito now, still holding the SS, mind you.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what gives these players trouble, right? It's not the bursts, it's not the sliders, it's those big jumps in the Ki times, super high spacing, comfortable angle jumps that you find in every no mod 1. That is exactly what Ekoro breaks on, and what Tekkito is able to handle just as easily as the rest of the map, still holding on to that 100% accuracy double S. Not showing really any signs of discomfort whatsoever. The aim from Tekkito, as good as we expected it to be, if not better, coming into this no mod 1. The hidden one may be a little bit of a fluke, a bit of a low for him. Does drop a 50 there, but still holds on to the combo anyway, and that is going to keep that score lead intact and growing.
Yeah, that is the only act drop that Tekkito has had so far, mind you. No 100 still. So on the reverse SS, as I like to call it. And this score gap is growing very quickly out of hand for Ekoro. SSing the 1/3 too. Okay, never mind. Not SSing the last slider, and yep, slow section. Okay. Unlucky. But it doesn't really matter, because still very sizable ACK advantage over Ekoro, as well as a combo advantage. It's going to be giving him a growing lead up to 200k now as we approach the last part of the map. It's going to require Tekkito missing before the last chorus and Ekoro holding for the rest of the map in order for Ekoro to have a chance at this. And unfortunately, at this point, I think it's just too late, too far gone. Even with that miss on that hard jump section, even with Ekoro hitting that, I just don't think there's enough map left.
Yeah, the trouble for Ekoro is, despite the fact that he's got this 900 combo lead, there's just a sliver of map left. If there were more song left when that miss occurred from Tekkito, I would say that maybe it's possible for a comeback to happen, but you're going to have to FC the rest of it to make it even close at all, and that's not going to happen either. About a 140,000 score lead for Tekkito, going to be the margin of victory on this no mod 1 as he closes it out cleanly. Not quite the full combo. 2 misses at the end of it, but 99 AC and a very sizable score lead to keep him ahead.
And there goes the aim maps. No more aim left in the pool. As a matter of fact, no more double time left in the pool either. Double time entirely gone from the question. Actually, wait, I could be lying. Was DT2 banned? I actually forgot.
It
no,
was
it
not.
wasn't. It
No.
was not. Okay, so that is actually still a potential pick. My bad. I thought, for some reason, I thought Ekoro banned that, but I am dumb. So I don't imagine Ekoro is going to be picking into that, just pretty much based off of his score against Intercambing. I don't see him. You know, I really should stop talking sometimes.
Fiery.
I really should stop. I really need to stop talking sometimes.
Yeah, you know, for as good as Tekkito's score was on that map, 98% 1 miss and 750k for him against Intercambing, Ekoro has already shown that he is much more comfortable on the speed in this pool, and he is one of the best, if not the best, finger control player in the game right now. Just absolutely disgusting finger control. So things like those 225 BPM doubles, quads, and 6-note streams really not going to give him all that much trouble. I think largely what's going to decide this map is who is able to read and properly hit those buzz sliders that make themselves known all throughout this map, whether in the Ki times or in the verses of this song. And whichever player can hold on to that combo best through those very easily slider breakable buzzes is probably going to be able to come out on top, because I think both of these players definitely have both the speed and the finger control to deal with the rest of this map and its patterning.
Yeah, as we saw, Intercambing versus Tekkito, this map was played, and as a matter of fact was picked by Tekkito. He got 750k on this map, a 1 miss, 98.6% accuracy. So by all means, he is more than capable of playing maps like this. But as we've seen on DT3 and potentially Nomad 2 in some regard, not as much, granted, but in some regard, he's not as comfortable, not playing as well as he was on the day of Intercambing. So this could go either way. Ekoro is very much capable of also playing these types of maps. This is a toss-up. This is one of the toss-up maps. I'm actually kind of surprised to see this picked before Nomad 5, but I guess Ekoro just wants to save that for later.
Yeah. And we do have a short timeout coming out from Tekkito right now, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about maybe where we go from here after this pick is over for Ekoro. This is a relatively important pick from Ekoro as well. Tekkito is up 3-2 at the moment. Ekoro looking to tie it with this pick. So if he does lose, Tekkito with that 4-2 advantage would be able to force match point with the next pick. Looking at the rest of the pool as well, I think there are a couple of places that Tekkito has kind of some guaranteed points. The Nomad 4, like you were talking about earlier, Fiery, definitely one of those places. And for as good as Tekkito is with that hidden flow aim, we've seen how RNG and how volatile has been all throughout the weekend. So I hesitate to call that a guaranteed point, but I think it's a likely pick for Tekkito regardless, just because that is probably his best skill set, is those types of tech streams on hidden specifically. So we're very likely to see both that Nomad 4 and that hidden 3 come up. For Ekoro, meanwhile, after that Nomad 5 gets picked, I want to see where we go next for him, because all the reading maps will be gone. All of the speed maps will be gone, and all of the tapping maps. So do we go into something like that Nomad 3 maybe for him? It might be, I think, the only place that he would have left. I don't know. What other maps do you think that Ekoro has a good chance on? Because I'm looking at like Nomad 3 and Hard Rock 2 is kind of the only other picks that would be left at that point for him after this map is over.
And you got the Nomad 5 still. That is still a very potential pick for Ekoro, if going off of DT3 and DT2. I imagine that's going to be his next pick. But yeah, I imagine probably Nomad 3 would be his last pick, I imagine. I think Nomad 5 and Nomad 4 are guaranteed picks for Ekoro and Tekkito, respectively. I think we'll probably be seeing those during the next round. But after that, I think it's just really more toss-up here than anything. You could pick literally anything and it would work.
Yeah, that probably the last two picks we're going to see are the Hidden 3 and the Nomad 3. And I think whichever player wins one of them probably wins the other two. Very terms of the type of skills that they test with, you know, all the swaps between Flow Aim and Snap Aim in the Nomad 3, all of the really difficult cut streams that are very similar to what we see in Nomad 3 within that Hidden 3 pick, all of those cut double streams on Hidden, very, very tricky to do well on. So we're probably going to see, I think, a volatile ending to this match with those last 2 picks. Before we get there, we're going to have to go through this double time 2, the Nomad 5 probably for Ekoro, the Nomad 4 probably for Tekkito. We'll see whether those picks do come to fruition or not.
Just a little heads up on the matchups here on DT2. Overall, most players getting 500k on this. Malachevsky getting 500k twice. Reedcat 500k, 0 miss. Tekkito, the only one above that. 750k for him on the 1 miss from his match versus Intercamping. Badoo double time too. I don't really need to say more than that.
I thought he might have popped off on it. What's happening?
Well, I will say he definitely popped off on it. He got a 66% over a 60%, so hey, that's something.
Incredible. Well, we'll see if Ekoro is able to beat the odds on this one. I mean, Tekkito with the best score of the weekend on this map so far really is kind of intimidating on this map, but like we said, the finger control for both of these players likely not going to be an issue on the map, and likely going to come down to who can combo game this pick the best between the two of them, because there are a lot of easily missable, lighter breakable sections like we just saw from Ekoro there, and now from Tekkito right afterwards. Up in the chain miss for Tekkito, however, the main decider on the score lead at the moment, 5% AC lead now for Ekoro, as Tekkito struggling to maintain the accuracy held on.
Yeah, that AC drop is massive. Too bad, unfortunately, Ekoro going to be missing immediately after, so the combo advantage is back in favor of Tekkito, so the score lead should be shifting over relatively soon. This is a relatively short map, so these massive combo leads make a huge difference, as you're already seeing. This score gap is already in favor of Tekkito, now climbing from 40k onwards. And really, it was just that one AC drop from Tekkito. He's looking very comfortable now on the rest of the map and getting that 600k, slightly lower than what he had versus Intercaming, but that is still going to be a solid score from Tekkito on that map. Slider break, unfortunately, for Ekoro with 96%.
B ranks are better than S ranks. You heard it here first, folks. 600k on the 92 AC for Tekkito, more than enough to still win the pick, setting the second best score of the weekend with that run, only second to his own 750k earlier on. And unfortunately for Ekoro, that slider break in the middle of the map, man, the worst place to find those breaks, Ekoro finds it and is just unable to put together a solid score on the rest of the pick. Really unfortunate in that map for him. And now Tekkito actually picking into the Nomad 3 first. And I actually kind of like this pick from Tekkito, saying, you know what, I'm going to save the Nomad 4 for my last pick, and I'm going to go with something a little more Flow Aim focused. Even if he loses this map, I think Ekoro isn't in the best of spots anyway, does have that Nomad 5, but, you know, Tekkito still has what we tend to think of as a pretty guaranteed point on that Nomad 4, so saving it for the end, definitely a super valid strategy. You know, we were talking about Hidden 3 maybe for Tekkito, Nomad 3 maybe for Ekoro, but they're the same type of map, honestly, and it's kind of a toss-up who does better on which pick here between these two players.
Yeah, I think this definitely makes a lot more sense if you consider the fact that Tekkito just won a breakpoint on double time too. This is definitely something that I would go for if I had a breakpoint. If you just took a breakpoint, you don't want to follow that up with another guaranteed point. You would want to maybe just save that in the bag for your last pick, and instead get maybe the roll of the dice pick out of the way, Nomad 3, because if you win this, then you're at match point, and Nomad 4, you still have that as a guaranteed pick. So regardless of what Ekoro picks for his next pick, you will know that you at least have that Nomad 4, and you will do good on that.
The pressure's on for Ekoro on this map, in other words. If he does not win this pick, if he cannot take the breakpoint back, then Tekkito has what is probably a guaranteed pick and what is probably a guaranteed win because of that in Nomad 4 in the back pocket. And Ekoro probably knows that as well. So the pressure is on this Nomad 3 pick, and we'll see which of these players is better prepared for this really brutal test of aim control. Mapped by Spartan here. Another sort of really tricky. That lots of cut double streams and general changes between aim and snap aim in this map that are very, very difficult to be consistent on. And that aim control consistency is the name of the game on these types of modern alt maps.
And I also want to point out that Tekkito in his match against Intergaming did one miss this with 6x100s. So absolutely dominating the accuracy department on this and is more than capable of aiming and getting a combo on this map. So we'll see. It's all on Ekoro to combat that, really. Whether or not he can also put up similar accuracy. So far, not looking too good in the accuracy department, but at the very least, matching combo, which is what matters the most. Tekkito can just get some unlucky misses at pretty much any point in the map. At any point, this could just absolutely turn into a complete disaster for him. But for now, holding the SS as we get into the next hard pattern, and both players still hitting it. Both players are actually going nuts on this right now.
Oh, as you say that, the under-aim comes through, and that is, again, right halfway through the map for him. Just really poor timing on the miss. And that is going to cap his score at about 600k, maybe 550k with the accuracy that he has at the moment. Continued misses coming through just after that halfway point as well. And so with 100 to his play, Tekkito looking extremely good on this No Mod 3. Shoot, the hidden 3 might not even be necessary, man. This No Mod 3 play just looking immaculate from Tekkito at the moment. And Ekoro continuing to drop more of these.
That just steals it. Like,
it absolutely does. It absolutely does.
This is beating his old score from Intergaming already. 1x100, by the way, just still on that, I want to mention. This is all eyes on him, whether or not he can FC the map, because 1x100 now gone, but an FC on this with this accuracy is still crazy. Like, look how much he's shaking, and he's still hitting these! He's still FCing! And he's going to be seeing that at the lead. He's going to be seeing it, and he's just going to be like, all right, no more nerves. I don't have nerves.
Damn is right, Ekoro. That is one hell of a play from Tekkito right now, just popping off. Ekoro can't even see the accuracy, so all he sees is full combo at that break, but nonetheless, still impressed, and you may as well be on a map like this. So difficult to combo through, so difficult to consistently aim, and with that kind of accuracy, just all the more impressive for Tekkito. 3 100s on the full combo with that play.
Yeah, absolutely. There are no words to describe how insane that play is. Holding the SS, holding 1x100 for a majority of the map, and then dropping 2 100s on one pattern. That is just, there's no other way to say it. That's insane. And I think that is the highest score we've seen so far. I think Badu might have had higher accuracy, but missed at the very end of the map. So that is the highest score so far this weekend on that map. And Tekkito is now at match point. Ekoro on the ropes.
Ekoro definitely on the ropes. We kind of talked about No Mod 5 as a potential pick. We talked about No Mod 3 as a potential pick. Well, that's out of the window. And really, I think we probably see this No Mod 5. It's gonna have to work for Ekoro here up against the ropes. This is loser's bracket as well. As a reminder, one watching, this is a loser's bracket matchup, and if Ekoro loses, he is out of the tournament here in 7th to 8th place. If they win for either of these players, they guarantee themselves a spot in the finals weekend and a spot on the top 6 of this tournament as well. So Ekoro, for his tournament life, fighting right now with the No Mod 5, 240 BPM bursts, streams, and a little bit of a game component in this map. Largely, though, the 240 BPM bursts and streams and a very straightforward test of that speed stamina.
A Cinderella run. All depends on these next 3 picks and the tiebreaker if it comes down to that. Ekoro now on the ropes, needs every chance he can get to get every single point. And No Mod 4 from Tekkito is still on the table as well, to mention. But for now, it is looking good for Ekoro as we enter this map. Despite the accuracy drops from Ekoro, the combo is what matters, and he is dividends above Tekkito in that regard right now.
Let's talk about a Cinderella story for both of these players, actually. Tekkito dropping down to the loser's bracket in the first round, in round of 16, right alongside Ekoro. Both of these players actually bottom 4 in terms of seeding in this tournament. The first round was round of 16, so that's 13th seed for Ekoro and 16th seed for Tekkito. Those are both just about as low a seeding as you can get out of qualifiers. Both of them now already top 8 finishes in this tournament, above, for example, the 3rd seed in Intercambing and the 5th seed in White Cat. So very, very solid performances from both of these players so far, well outperforming their expected seeding finish from these qualifiers. Big act drop from Ekoro there as I was talking about that, however. Still maintains the combo on that stream. Tekkito as well has clawed back this combo, is on a solid recovered combo at the moment, so if Ekoro did drop there, there was a very real chance that Tekkito was able to take that score lead back, as this score lead, not even 100k for Ekoro right now, with the slight accuracy lead that Tekkito has on this map.
And we're going to be getting into the triple section here. This is where, if you're really not comfortable at this BPM, the stamina is killer here, because these triples are followed up by a long stream right here. And Tekkito...
This is the last note! He missed the jump right before the break! The literal last note right before the break, and that probably seals it up for Ekoro. Quite literally missing the very last note of that pattern for Tekkito is going to give Ekoro this win, even if he misses at this point. There's just no combo for Tekkito to take advantage of it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about that. That's just ouch. I thought maybe Tekkito would miss on the stream, as that is what he did versus Intercambing on this. Got a bit stamina gapped at there, but both players actually hitting that stream, barely, granted. Ekoro almost dropping at the end, but just that circle at the end of it. Welcome to speed aim maps, my friends.
Yeah.
Now it's just whether or not Ekoro can FC, because an FC on this would still be very, very good. Like, even with this accuracy, that would still be good.
Yeah, this is still a very solid score from Ekoro. Not quite the accuracy used with Ekoro. Does find a slider break there at the very end of the map. Will still S-rank this pick. No misses dropped, but unfortunately not the full combo coming through there at the end. Still a very solid pick for Ekoro to bring this to a 5-3 game state, but like we said earlier, that No Mod 3 pick bringing Tekkito to match point, and Tekkito now with the next pick. Ekoro still on the back foot, still fighting for his tournament life, able to extend it another pick with that FC, or one slider break on No Mod 5, but still gonna be staring down the barrel of Tekkito's No Mod 4 pick here. Almost certainly this is the pick. I would be very surprised to see him pick anything else. Maybe
I could see Hidden 3.
I could see Hidden 3.
I think Hidden 3, No Mod. No Mod 4 and Hidden 3, I think, are the two obvious picks. You can just roll dice between those two. I think No Mod 4 is probably the more comfortable pick, but Hidden 3, like, that's literally just Tekkito's skill set. I genuinely do think that would still work out for him. Even if Ekoro is good on those types of maps, I just think it's a bit more RNG than No Mod 4. But, like, it's Tekkito's skill set. We can say we can hammer that in over and over, and there it goes. Hidden 3.
He's very clearly comfortable on this type of map as well today in particular, right? I mean, 3-100 full combo on No Mod 3. Say what you will about how good Tekkito is at tech maps. His aim control on these low BPM 1-4 streams is so good today. And I think picking into the Hidden 3 here is very, very reasonable from him because of that. It also, I think, puts Ekoro in a really weird spot, because even if he wins this pick, what maps are left? You don't want to pick No Mod 4 into Tekkito. You don't want to do that, right? So I think this pick still works very well in that regard as well, because you just don't want to pick the other maps that are left in this pool into Tekkito anyway. So even if Tekkito loses this, we'll still see what Ekoro wants to do with the remainder of the pool. Now, though, let's talk about this map here. Lots of high spacing streams, lots of variable spacing, lots of cut streams, and lots of easy places to slider break, as those sliders often have a change in stream spacing accompanied with them. Early slider break for Tekkito with that change in stream spacing, but both players just beast moding this intro. Actually, like, only one slider break so far for either of these players is a very, very high level of play on this map so far.
Can we just talk about Tekkito's accuracy? Like, I think that was his only slider. I think he has 1x100, 150 right now. Maybe even just only that 150. Like, what? Dude. And Ekoro's still beating because, like, 2 S ranks. 2 S ranks.
Like, this is... Both of these players have shown absolutely absurd levels of play on all of the gimmick maps in this pool. Nomad 6 notwithstanding, this map alone would put either of them on the radar for any other player in this tournament with this hidden 3. We're going to have to see how the last third of this map goes, though. We have seen so many players stage massive comebacks on this pick, but both of them drop on the same pattern there, and now Ekoro's 100,000 score lead is going to do work in keeping him ahead on this pick. Tekkito is going to need to out-combo Ekoro in the end to bring this back. Even with the accuracy lead that he has, I don't think it's going to be enough to claw the score back in just a sliver of map left here at the end.
Yeah, if Ekoro note locked on one of the oh my god, wait, okay, never mind, there it is. Oh no, that might actually be a problem. If he does that one more time, this could get really dicey real fast, but I just don't think there's enough time. There isn't. And Ekoro clinging on to dear life. 99% from Tekkito on that, by the way.
Holy
Ekoro just combo gaming the hell out of that map and barely managing to hang on. And now
24,000 score, man. So incredibly close for Ekoro into the last pick now. What does he actually go for here? Because I just don't know with the maps that are left up what you feel confident or comfortable picking into Tekkito right now. If you're
Yeah, you have, what do you have? Nomad 4, Hard Rock 2? I think those, actually no, what else is there? Nomad 4, Hard Rock 2, and you have nothing else in the Nomad pool, nothing else in the DT pool, nothing else in the Hidden, but yeah, it's just those 2 maps. It's a decision between Nomad 4 and Hard Rock 2. Do you want to go for precision flow aim? He does.
Guess so. I mean, I understand this pick from Ekoro, right? You have 2 poor choices left into Tekkito. Ekoro, clearly not somebody who is really into precision, but with this, with the way that this match has gone, this is kind of all that you have left. You have at least one of those flow aim picks, right? You have the hidden 3 just now. So praying for a similar outcome on this map is Ekoro, looking for the last pick and the last point in this match to force the tiebreaker up against Tekkito.
Keep the Cinderella story going is what Ekoro's mind is set on right now. And so far, looking to be good, Tekkito with an early break. This is a fairly short map, so these early breaks will matter quite a bit, especially these act drops and repeated breaks from Tekkito, as a matter of fact. That's going to matter more than anything so far. And Ekoro still holding onto the FC despite the accuracy. And okay, that's unlucky.
Yeah, finds the overtap there as the stream ends and finds the misaim right beforehand to cause the overtap. It's gonna still be close though. The combo between these 2 players not that far apart. It's a little under a 100 combo lead for Tekkito, but that is enough to bring the score back onto his side here. Still quite a lot of map remaining, however. We're only a third of the way through this pick. And so quite a lot of combo left to be gained for either of these players. Lots of really tricky aim control patterns in this map as well, in addition to the space streams on CS 6.5.
Yeah, the wiggle pattern in particular, I think, is worth paying attention to. That's going to be coming up, I think, relatively shortly. It should be somewhat soon, and I think it's going to be... This is going to determine whoever hits that wiggle pattern is going to pretty much win this map, I think. If both these players hit it, then we have a real map on our hands here. But we're going to be getting into it right now. Here it is! And, okay, both players...
Both of them actually hit it, and now we're just going into the ending of this map with 2 intact combos. Tekkito out-comboing and out-acking Ekoro here at the ending is maybe going to decide the entire map, as we see both of them just holding on with no issue here near the end. Just a sliver of map left. Any combo breaks for either player will decide it, but with the score lead posting 100,000 score...
There's not enough map anymore. Tekkito's done it. And this is absolutely insane. Holding through this ending, that's exactly where he needed to hold, and Ekoro didn't even have a bad score. 700k, I think that's the second highest score. It just doesn't matter. Tekkito 800k on that is going to be giving him the win, 6-4 against Ekoro, advancing onto the losers bracket to face off against Arnold in the finals.
And everybody has been watching Ekoro's Cinderella story through this tournament. Unfortunately, it will be trampled over by an even more ridiculous Cinderella story of Tekkito, seed number 16, making it into the top 6 over seed number 13, Ekoro, out of qualifiers. A really solid match from both of these players, however, just about as close as it gets. 6-4 on the win for Tekkito after a pretty dominant win over Camping, taking all but one map against the 3rd seed from Chile. And that is just a really solid win for Tekkito moving into the top 6. He has to be happy with that. Like you said, moving on to face Arnold in the next round of losers bracket to secure that top 4. But just a fantastic match from Tekkito, really showing the breadth of his skill set, winning maps on anything from the speed to streams to reading to raw aim consistency. Just having an absolutely fantastic match here.